This is the Brown Duke Gun Show. My name is JP Garcia, here today with the full cast of characters. We have Brandon, we have Austin. It is the end of the year. We've had a great year. We're going to go over a lot of stuff, just kind of in general, show to end the year. Just, bring everybody up to speed on where we've been, what our plans are for next year, what's happened in politics, what's happening in the news. And really just kind of want to cap off the year and thank everybody. So this is kind of more like a variety show. This is the official podcast for Sentry Defense Indoor Range in Youngsville, Louisiana. If you're looking for a place to buy gifts, if you're looking for a place to shoot, to learn, to do anything related to firearms, and if you're in our area, please come check us out. We've got a lot of fun stuff to do, a lot of great instructors, a lot of great activities. If you're into, if you've never tried competition, you should do that. It's a thing you should do. If you haven't done it this year, you need to put it on your list for next year. It is also the official podcast for Sentry Manufacturing, which has had a big year this year and hopefully have a big year next year. And then again, it is the official podcast for Sentry Prime and Skill Builder Ammo. So lots of things going on the podcast. But we were just talking before we started the show about the United Health CEO getting assassinated, really. That's nuts.
Yeah, I didn't see the video or really know much about it.
So he was murdered, assassinated, but the murderer, assassinee, whatever you call him, killed him with a suppressed pistol.
Yeah.
I saw a couple of different shows kind of breaking down the video, and essentially I think it's a 22. And the gun, it wouldn't run. So we can we can get into politics and then we can get into what actually happened. But the kind of take that the gun community has been trying, without getting into politics, just talking about, strictly talking about like what actually happened. But so it was like a suppressed 22 pistol, and the gun just it would shoot, jam. So they were trying to, without getting into politics, talking about this person obviously did this with no firearm experience or specific experience with this firearm. And then will there be repercussions? Because we've always talked about, when people, ask about suppressors, we're like, there's never really been anything that's happened with crime with a suppressor that has warranted action towards people getting suppressors.
Right.
And I don't think that there is anything that could warrant it, because I don't think that suppressors they don't give any advantage to, somebody wanting to do some kind of heinous crime like that. It doesn't make it any easier. It doesn't make it any more unstoppable, like a machine gun or something, right? That's an obvious thing of why civilians shouldn't own it. And with the election, people are calling for the undoing of the NFA ban and stuff. And it's we're, us as extreme, I don't want to say extreme pro 2A stuff, but
we kind of are, but
within a sound reasoning, right? We're not running around saying that everybody should own a machine gun, right? We're saying there's a reason that they're regulated. And yes, there's the capability to do mass harm with machine guns and stuff like that. But I don't believe that suppressors have that capability.
Right.
I don't believe that they make it any easier or give somebody the ability to do any more damage, right?
Right.
So that was kind of the call to action with this video was, or with this murder was, will there be a call to action on suppressors as far as now further limiting people to get them, by some political entity? And then the second piece of it is breaking down, this person obviously wasn't a firearm.
Do you think so? Because
there's two pieces to it. There's the side of it where it's they think he didn't shoot the gun beforehand because it didn't run. But then there also was the piece of he knew exactly what to do when the gun jammed.
Yeah.
It was like a tap rack, and then it didn't shoot again, hit the back of it, and it shot again.
Right.
He definitely had firearms experience.
Yeah,
yes.
But maybe not experience. He never shot this specific gun beforehand.
I think that seems true. I don't know if you guys have seen the video.
Yeah, I saw it.
It's wild.
It's wild. Yeah, so it just walking down the street at night, he was right about to walk into his hotel, and this guy just kind of walks out behind a car and shoots him once. The gun jams. He racks it, and then it doesn't shoot. Hits the back of it, and it shoots again. The guy goes down, and then I think again racks it, and he shoots him again, and he just kind of walks off. They still haven't caught him.
No, yeah.
So
I think
where is it at?
in New York.
New York.
Yeah, okay.
In New York, and I think so. To me, looking at this thing, like I think the guy was a pro because it looked like a freaking James Bond movie.
It looked fake.
Yeah,
It looked fake.
Yeah. It looked staged
Yeah.
almost, right? Because the guy, like, literally, he was wearing a mask, I guess, and a hoodie or whatever, and he was just kind of sitting there,
Yeah.
and waiting for the guy to get in or out of the hotel. I don't
Yeah.
remember which, but then he sees the dude he's gonna assassinate. And then the guy's walking away. Then he raises up the pistol, and then
Now, here's the other piece of it too. So, 5 feet, right? 5 feet. Who, people that come into our store, 5 feet. You think you could hit a silhouette from 5 feet?
Yeah.
First shot hit him in the calf.
yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, I don't know. You're right.
5 feet.
But that also tells me 22. I mean,
Yeah.
maybe it's but
Yeah, so that's kind of where the firearm community is at with this. Like, again, without trying to get into politics, is
Yeah.
they're just like, because some people are asking the firearm community, like, is this guy a professional? Like, analyze the video and tell us, like, did this guy know what he was doing? And that's where the firearm community is like, we don't know, because there's like, from 5 feet, you hit a guy in the calf. Why are you using a 22? But then there's like, he knew exactly what to do when the
he
gun
tap racked,
jammed.
yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, man, we don't know.
right.
Because they're trying to use that information to try to figure out who this guy is. You know.
And the other thing that was the other thing that was weird is after the guy, after the shooter killed the guy, he didn't run. He just
walked
he
off.
put the gun back and he just walked off.
So yeah, that's kind of weird because usually, like, if they hit him in the calf, then you'd think like maybe they're like amped up or so,
Yeah.
and like maybe like didn't
No,
look at the sights or anything. But like if he just walked off, then he wasn't amped up.
Yeah.
And I think maybe with a 22, it's super quiet in 22,
Yeah.
so you
Yeah.
do that, and then also you can buy those silencers from whatever.
Yeah, and
like
and
Temu
we're
or
also
something.
assuming that it was like an actual silencer. Like it could have
Yeah.
been a Temu
Correct.
oil
Oil thing. And that's what it
it probably
was.
was.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's probably why the gun jammed.
That's probably why the gun-
And
yeah,
it was
so-
probably a
yeah.
cheap 22, and that's probably why the gun jammed.
Had cheap ammo in it because 22s do jam.
Yeah.
So like it just misfire or whatever.
Yeah, and we see that like with good 22s and good suppressors is that like you have to run like the extreme velocity stuff to get the guns to cycle.
Yeah.
So if he ran some run of the mill cheap 22 through a cheap 22 gun in a suppressor that probably wasn't even legal.
Was it a 22 though?
It was a 22.
Determined?
Yeah, it was determined. So, and there was some professional analysis actually that I saw this on like, I don't know what I
Did
saw.
they find the gun?
No, they don't. They
No,
didn't
he
find
took
the
it.
guy.
Like you,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
it's.
And then the bullets, the casings had messages on them.
Yeah, I remember somebody saying that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
there's
yeah.
it's weird, man. It's like a movie, like you hate to see some, you never ever
No,
want to see somebody get killed, but it is like just this weird thing. But there was I don't know the podcast that I saw, but they're apparently pretty big. And this guy was actually talking about the shooting posture of the guy, about how he couldn't have known much about shooting based off his shooting posture. Basically, what he's saying is that. If you really look into it, like the guy really was not even using the sights, and like I don't know, but so it's like they're saying like he couldn't know what he was doing, and then it's like you back up and it's like the gun jams, he tries to shoot it, and you can see him flinch, the gun doesn't go off, he tap racks it, flinches again, it doesn't go off, hits the back of it, and then shoots him, and then racks it, and then shoots him again.
Yeah, because he shot him several times.
Yeah.
So
Or
I think
he's
he
not
had some type of knowledge with that gun.
yeah.
Because like if you knowing how to go through a malfunction.
And the thing is too is that he immediately, when the gun didn't go off, like it was almost like he was shooting a bolt action. So like I think he knew that gun was not going to run.
Yeah.
Like when the
went
gun
through
went
that before.
off, he immediately racked it.
Yeah.
So like he knew it wasn't going to cycle.
Yeah.
Right.
So I don't know. It's wild.
It doesn't add up. Like
It's like, man, you're so professional, but you shot him with a 22 that didn't run.
he probably didn't have a lot of like skill based stuff.
Yep.
You know,
And then
but
in living in New York,
how
if
much
he's from
practice can you get?
That- well-
and what access do you have to practice and or to?
well, that's assuming he's from New York. Though.
I know. Yeah, it's a lot of
You know.
assumptions. We don't know. They didn't catch a guy. So.
Because the guy's in the wind.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, nobody knows.
If he's that professional, I doubt he's from New York.
Yeah.
They have
you know.
they have footage of him like at like a Starbucks or something, and he's a younger guy. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I don't know. Like, and the whole thing was about, I guess, a protest of, I guess United Health
Out
doesn't,
of network and stuff.
out of network stuff, and like, I don't want to dig into that because I don't know anything about
Yeah.
that. But just back to the shooter. It's like it doesn't add up. How does the first shot or maybe whatever shot hit the calf?
It was first shot. Yeah,
The first shot hit the
him in
calf. But then it's like also, somebody like that, you're not going to expect them to be able to just clear a malfunction immediately.
Yeah, exactly. It's just weird. Yeah, there's a lot.
And then walking, like the thing that I don't know where the shots hit, but if you see the video, this guy literally
walks off.
Like
casually walks
in
off.
the wind. You know. So, and I think, the only argument that you could make as far as the suppressor helping or hurting is that, that it could not have drawn as much attention.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
100%.
But at the same time, it's like,
especially 22, you can't even hear it. Like,
yeah. But at the same time too, like, okay, if you flip it, if the guy was, assassinated with a 9mm subs, I mean, maybe, but the guy, like, by the time the guy had walked off, the killer had walked off,
yeah, it's not gonna help or hurt like that much. Yeah,
no. I mean,
with the silencer, without silencer.
The only thing, I mean, I don't think it was a material difference.
No, I don't think so.
The only thing different would have been if you would have been had a larger caliber, maybe. You wouldn't have taken as many shots.
Yeah, right? I don't know. There's a lot of weird.
It's just odd.
Yeah.
It's just. I mean, I hate to laugh about it because it's such a wild thing, but it doesn't like so many things about that don't register. It's like that Las Vegas shooter. Do you guys remember that Las Vegas shooter in that hotel?
I'm not a conspiracy guy, but that's one of the ones that doesn't register with me.
Yeah.
It just doesn't register.
This one and that one are like in the same, like, what the hell's happening?
Yeah, that one, so. I have feelings about that one, but again, it's like, I don't know. Yeah. I don't want to get into politics, but yeah, this one's weird. So that's just current news. That's what's going on in the news right now. So we're kind of, Brandon's seeing the video for the first time right now. So there's some weird happenings with it.
Yeah.
So I can't really, I'm watching the first shot and it doesn't look like he pushes the gun down or like anticipates a recall or anything like that. So hitting him in the calf.
That's like, what they were saying that the video I saw was they were saying that like he didn't actually flinch the recoil. He just wasn't aiming the gun.
I think that it could have also been a baffle strike.
Yeah.
Too.
Because imagine like, if he just total James Bond, and just boom,
that like maybe the end cap, like it was solid end cap and he didn't drill it out or something.
Yeah.
And like,
yeah, dude, you're right.
It ricocheted from that. Like it could have been that. Like
you're right.
You're
100% right. Yeah.
Because like his grip's pretty decent. Like, and then he shoots. The reason why I say that is because the guy continues to walk another 3 yards or so, and he ends up hitting him at that distance. So it's like if you can hit him from a further distance, but maybe not the first shot, it could have been just like an issue with the gun or something on the first shot.
You're right.
Yeah.
Because like, how does the shot get harder and you get more accurate?
Yeah, I don't know.
Correct.
And that's the other thing they were saying too, is that like if this guy was a professional, like professionals don't take risks. Like he would have put this thing right up to his head and shot him, right? Yeah. So that's what they were like. He's not a professional, but there's a lot of weird things that
I don't know. He's more than an amateur.
Yeah.
I definitely say more than an amateur.
Yeah,
like he did some homework. Yeah. And
did you notice, like I said, like the second the gun went off, he went to rack it?
Yeah, he racked it.
Yeah.
And then,
so it's like he didn't attempt to fire another shot. He just immediately racked it. And then after he racked it, it didn't work again. And that's when he hit the back of it. So it's like he knew how the gun worked.
Correct.
Yeah.
Or at least how a gun works, right? Like
that specific one to me, because like, he knew that 22 wasn't going to cycle.
If he was given that gun, right? Like that's the thing. It's like if he was a true professional hit person and he was given that equipment, and then it's like, okay, what am I? They gave him this Timu Can 22, and he's like, what the hell, I mean, here I'm making excuses for an assassin. Like, don't assassinate people.
I think that he's actually shot that gun before.
Yeah, that's what I think so too.
Yeah.
I think so too.
He definitely shot the gun before, and it could have been just some issue with the first shot, but
maybe not that can. Maybe you're right.
Maybe not the can.
Maybe not the can. So
don't assassinate people.
Don't assassinate people, and again.
He definitely did a lot of homework, and he had an intent with like engraving on the casings or whatever, like writing on them. Like that's he knew what he was doing. It
malicious, because there are people who pass by, and it's not like he was going for that specific dude.
And
knew
knew exactly what he was. And he wanted people to find those casings and stuff like that. So he had a motive.
Right. Yeah, that's nuts.
Weird. We'll find out. Hopefully, maybe we won't. I don't know.
So off of that, for our our listeners, our viewers, number one, don't assassinate people. Don't.
he could have even like known where the camera was and wanted to be like
On camera.
on camera.
Yeah, for
because his back was to the camera the whole entire time.
Certainly. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So,
He was in a Starbucks before with like like they had pictures of his face and stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, they'll be able to track him down.
yeah.
I don't
It's
know.
a matter of time. I don't know. Of course, I mean, the fact that
They're asking the community, and the community's like, "Nah, we're good."
Yeah, if they have his face, like they know who he is. They're just trying to find him right now.
Yeah. So
anyway,
don't shoot people.
what? Yeah, don't shoot
Don't shoot
people.
good people.
Don't shoot good people. Doesn't matter how mad you are at them. Like that doesn't do anything but hurt the community, right? And of course, hearts, prayers, all that stuff goes out to the family of the guy. No, you never want that on anybody.
Nope.
But people don't do that. Now, from that, what effect is that going to have on the gun community at large? And so that's the question. Do you think there's going to be a run on suppressors right now?
I don't. I don't
think so
think
either.
there will be either. I don't think there will be. Purely from the fact because like any professionals that they call to, somewhat testify on the matter, it'll be the same thing that we said. That's like, one, it's a 22. So even if he wasn't using a suppressor, like there wouldn't have been a lot of, attention drawn. And then two, like the ability for criminals to get suppressors is it's an equivocal.
It works.
Yeah, it worked. Ability for them to get firearms illegally.
Yes, certainly.
Like, yeah. I mean, you can go on, like we talked about, like Temu and buy an oil can. Like, it's like, they don't work well.
Clearly, if that's what he used.
Yeah. But it's like you can't. There's no. In my opinion, there's no additional harm that somebody can do by using a suppressor.
No lethality.
No extra lethality. Now, we don't want to get in the weeds about it, but I don't think there is. Like, people that know about suppressors know that like they're not movie suppressors.
Right.
Like they're not like they're called suppressors. That people. I don't care if you call them suppressors, silencers. I don't care, but they don't silence anything.
Right.
Like they're still very loud.
Yeah, it's not. It's not what you think.
Yeah. So I don't think there will be any call to action, but that's kind of just what the community's talking about right now. Is like, will there be a call to action? It's like, no. Like, I mean, look at the fact that like we see criminals with like Glock switches. Like, then there's no call to action on like those things, right?
Right.
So you can go again on the internet and they call them keychains. You can buy them for $15 and you just pop them in the back and
There's already like a call to action, like they're illegal.
Yeah.
So, like,
Yes.
We tried,
Yes.
Yes. So the machine guns are illegal. So, and like we see the same thing every day with like, not every day. Sorry. We don't see this every day, but we occasionally will see the same thing with like the force reset triggers that are now machine guns. Like,
right.
Like if somebody happens to ask us about them, we tell them like they are machine guns. They are illegal. If you have one, you need to turn it in. Like it is against the law. Like correct. I'm pro 2A, but I'm also pro following the law.
Correct.
So where there's, So.
Yeah.
I don't think there will be any call to action. And if there is one, I think that it'll be shut down pretty swiftly.
Yeah. And like the big thing is, they're always talking about like, oh, does the silencers get taken off the NFA thing or whatever? And like, I always tell people like, it's not going to happen.
No.
Like there's just too much money that's involved into it.
Right.
Where the federal government's making millions, like actually millions of dollars every year.
Not just millions.
Yeah,
like
multi-millions.
Yeah. Sure.
Of just on tax stamps for silencers. Like you think that they're going to be like, hey, now y'all don't have to do
Never
this.
mind.
Like, no, it's not going to happen. Like it's a tax. They're taking it in. They're not going to stop it just because like for some reason.
It's like the pistol brace thing.
Yeah.
Like they were like, oh yeah, free tax stamps. And like whether that was about the whole pistol brace thing or not, I think the fact that they were just like, hey, free tax stamps. And then they would saw like the hit they were taking. They were like, no, we got to undo this.
We're going to do it. It's just too much money is involved. So they're not going to take it off. Yeah. So like, people have been waiting for that to happen for like 7 years now. And it's like, why don't you just buy the silencer and you can have it?
You'd already have it.
You'd already have it. And, like,
and I think that what they've done with the NFA process as far as suppressor goes is a step in the right direction. Because I'm with Brandon, I agree. Like, whether you agree with it or not, and like again, I'm not getting into whether we agree with it or not.
Right.
We follow the law, and the law is we do what we do. The wait time now, like we're seeing like 2 weeks sometimes, like so we've taken a step in the right direction where they're using the technology that we have to automate the process, right?
Sure.
So I mean, there's no real complain about it. Like it's a short. Maybe you do have to wait a long time.
Right.
Sorry, like it happens.
Yeah.
So I think we're moving in the right direction as far as trying to expedite the process. But again, whether you agree with it or not, there's too much money and infrastructure behind the process for them to just be like, yeah, okay, we're done with it.
Right. Yeah. The only thing I can think of that would change it is if the Trump administration does end up cutting 80% of the government.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then they won't have people to do the thing. Yeah. Right.
But that's like the amount of people they have in that compared to other industries is like.
Yeah,
it's not going to be the same.
I know.
Like you might have. I would like to know how much the NFA branch has employed. I guarantee you, like as big as that people think it might be, I bet you it's less than 100.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Maybe.
Oh,
yeah.
I 100% agree with that.
Yeah, I don't know that for sure. I mean, I'm sure we could look it up.
Oh, I think it's like a floor in an office building somewhere.
Yeah.
I think the same thing. Because if they had thousands of people, then the non-automated silencer reviews would still take like a week. There's a reason like it takes a year. Because the line is long, but they're understaffed.
Right.
I think the same. I agree. I
think what'll happen is that it'll go, if they do go that route and they cut a lot of the the non-elected employees, then it'll go more automation, and then things will just end up being quicker. They're not going to get rid of the $200 tax.
Right.
No.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They're going to be like, hey, like. What makes it more efficient where we have to pay less over time.
And that's what they're doing now. Like that's the step they've taken is that like the process has become automated, and you can see it on your tax stamp when you get it back, whether or not it was actually reviewed by a person or if it was reviewed by a bot. Just like the NICS system to buy the 4473 to buy a firearm.
Right.
It's automated,
Yep. So
it goes through all the records so much faster than a human can and gives you a number and
you're
good.
And there's no reason that, we need to have, I mean, for most of the people, right? Like the only thing is like you need a person to look at it if they get flagged.
And that's exactly how it is right now.
They do it to where it's a little bit more cautious, to where it's like, hey, if anything pops up, flag it, so then a human can look at it.
Correct.
And that's the way it should be.
Yep,
absolutely.
Right? I agree.
Yeah. So speaking of, Trump and his cadre won the election. And again, we're not going to delve into politics. There are plenty of shows. If you want to listen to politics, you can talk about, that for hours and hours. But related to firearm content, what does that mean for our listeners, our friends, family, people who are interested in firearms? What should people be doing now that we have like the Trump administration? What implications do that politics have on being able to procure firearms, ammo, suppressors, these kinds of things?
So I'd definitely say buy as much ammo as you can, for as long as you can.
Yeah.
Like, because right now is going to be the cheapest time to buy it.
The golden time.
Yeah, the golden time to buy it. As he puts taxes on incoming metals that's coming into the country, the price of ammo is going to go up slightly.
Right.
They're not going to have a scare. So there's like two different types of reasons why ammo fluctuates. One is a scare. So if like someone's anti-gun gets elected, then people's like, oh, I need ammo right now. And then so that's a influx of price just based off of people wanting to make more money. Right. The other way is if metals go up, and it costs more to make the ammunition, right? So like the gun community is not going to make more money right now, but the people who own like the refineries and stuff are going to make more money because
the metallurgy and all that.
Yeah. And the people in the U.S., like the reason why he puts taxes on metals coming into the country is because it gives China less options to put more metals in here. So we use more metals of us, so it creates more U.S. jobs, and that's what he's trying to do.
Right.
So I definitely buy as much ammo as you can for the next however many years and keep stocking up. Like now's the time to stock up on stuff like that. Magazines is another great thing because if something happens where they have a magazine ban, it's not going to happen today, but in 5 years from now or 10 years from now, they might have a magazine ban or talk about it. Then the price goes up the roof and then you can't find them anymore. Right. AR-15s, lowers, like all that stuff that you like serialized parts and stuff like that. That's kind of like on the border. Like you want to buy that now. Right. Flashlights and things like, no, that's always going to be around. You can always find flashlights, but firearms, ammunition, and magazines, definitely buy it now.
Yep. If you're gonna go, if you're gonna do any Class 3 stuff or
Do
NFAs stuff, now's the time, right?
Now's the time to do it.
It's gonna be a friendly environment for the next 4 years. You want to do it sooner rather than later, because the next 4 years we don't know.
Yeah, and it's a cycle. It happens all the time. Every 10 years, this happens, right? Like we just saw it in COVID. So everything like spiked up. Before that was the Obama thing. Before that was the Clinton thing, right? So like every usually generation has it, but they end up, getting a scare, and then it goes through the roof. Like if you do that now, and I'm telling you to do it, then whenever that scare happens, you're like, hey, I already have everything I need. Right.
Yeah.
So you don't have to worry about it as much.
Yeah. So I think that's probably pretty good for that particular thing. Just now and for the next 4 years is going to be especially the next 2 years, right? Because now it's Republicans in the presidency, House and Senate. Everything is very favorable for gun owners. So especially in the next 2 year term, like this is the time to start really procuring stuff. If they flip the Senate or the House, then things could get more muddy then, but it maybe get harder to procure things at that point. But right now, the next 2 years for sure is the kind of the short-term golden period for everything. So that's that. We're at the end of the year. A lot of things have happened this year. Fast year. I can't believe, we started the show, and I think the first show we recorded was like end of January, 1st February,
or
something like that. So the show is we've upgraded a lot of things.
Yep.
Learned a lot of things. And I think the format's, pretty good going forward. I think, people are listening now. So that's cool. People are talking about it in the range.
Yeah. So submit questions and stuff, like topics that you might want to hear from us. That's going to be a huge help. So making sure that even if it's, gun related, training related, whatever it might be, submit all that questions, and then we can do a show directly for it too.
For sure. Well, yeah, I was telling you guys, one of the things people reached out to me on email, people, I don't know who they are, but they're asking us to do product reviews. So that could be another little avenue. We may change that up next year, do some more product reviews, talking about, so if you're listening and you're somebody who has products that you want us to review, send them over. Yeah. We'll take a look at them. We'll put them in the range, get feedback from the range folks.
We shoot over 1 million rounds a year downrange. So
absolutely.
Have the range bring us, guns or whatever else, we can test them out and see.
Yeah. So that's the show. We're planning to continue it next year. Hopefully maybe do some more. I want to get better about doing the lives, because I think, the few lives that we did this year, they were, people actually tuned in.
They were fun.
Yeah, they were good.
Yeah, they were really fun.
So I need to figure that out. I think we're going to try to do that a lot during SHOT.
Cool.
Versus just because I was thinking about maybe just doing recordings at SHOT and then posting them later. But if we can figure out a way to do them completely live and just, hey, here's some people coming in, boom, let's talk. And it's live on, Rumble, Twitter, and wherever you guys are getting stuff, then that's perfect.
Yeah, that'll also, we'll have the ability to update our, because I know when we go to SHOT Show, even when it was just Sentry Defense, people want to know, hey, what'd you guys see, Yeah. So if we can do a live, and now that we have manufacturing, now our followers and our local folks, we can update them hey, look, here's what's going on as far as manufacturing, and here's all the cool stuff we saw.
Yeah.
So we could do some that. I think that the live idea is really, really cool. And then with manufacturing, we've made some pretty cool friends throughout the industry who have already told hey, we're planning on doing this podcast, so make sure you stop by our booth. We'd love to hear from you and just your experience with either our products or just talk about what you guys do,
Yeah.
So we're going to do some cool stuff.
It'll be cool.
And also while we're there, Ed SHOT Show is going to be January 20 something. Let us know what booth you want us to go to, and then we'll go to that booth and we can look at the new products. If you want us to review the products while we're there, our first looks. Obviously, we don't like to do a ton of reviews just off of feeling the gun, because that's what most gun stores do, and we don't have that reputation.
Right.
Usually we like to shoot the gun, get a lot of time behind it, see what happens over time, and then make a review. But it would just be first initial review of it.
Initial impressions.
Yeah, initial impressions. So we can definitely do that.
So going, taking that Sentry manufacturing tangent for a little bit, I guess we can go in this direction. A lot of things have happened this year. Yeah. Big year for Sentry manufacturing for sure. So, talk about a little bit, where, from January to December, where it's come. Sure. I mean, a lot of ground, and then what's plan for next year?
Yeah, so we've come a really, really long way in a very short period of time. Like we've been very, very blessed with the success that we've had. Like I can't believe that SHOT Show is like it's a month away. It feels like we just went like 2 months ago.
Yeah.
And we were at SHOT Show last year with our first ever. We had like 3 prototypes of our charging handle, and we were literally just like cold calling people, walking around like, hey, look, this is our thing we came up with. What do you think about it? And we made a lot of connections there and had a lot of really good feedback. Like we really didn't have any bad feedback. Like nobody really told us like, hey, like this is not a good idea. So it's crazy to think like full circle that we've come. So in the past year, we've it took us from SHOT Show to 2 months ago. So let's just call it I think it was like beginning of October to dial down the manufacturing process to make them because they're very complicated to make.
Right.
And as of the beginning of October was when we first released them to the public. Since then, we've made some extremely high-end industry connections that we're still kind of testing with.
Yeah.
So hopefully there's some soon that we can talk about. But there's a lot of things to look forward to as far as the people that are testing our products, and then the people that are hopefully going to use our products. So we have some people to go talk to at SHOT Show, some new faces that we want to try to target. But what people can expect from us is the same, same thing that what we did with Deadlock is like, it was a kind of one of a kind invention, where you can expect a lot more of that. We have a bunch of ideas coming down the pipeline. But then also the obvious fact of expect the Deadlock charging handle for other platforms.
Sure.
That's our biggest thing now. There's no secret to that. Like obviously we want it to be in any firearm that takes a charging handle. So we're working on that right now. And there's some other stuff that we're working for us in the kind of the charging handle space. And then we're planning to do some stuff that like that everybody does. I don't know how much I want to get into it, but there's a lot of we're going to try to fill the space with some more products, some easier products, we could say.
Yeah.
That way we can, have a couple more products that we offer with the level of quality that people can come to expect from us.
Yeah.
And that's kind of our whole thing is like we're basing everything on high end quality. That's kind of our MO, and that's what we're gonna keep as long as this company lives is that high end. Maybe we're not talking about high end pricing, but well made. US made stuff. So that's kind of what we strive for because that's what we want. That's what we want in our product. So
Yeah.
a lot of good success. So I didn't think we'd be as successful as we are just the short time, especially that the product's only been out for 2 months,
Right.
or 3 months, whatever it's been. So
When you guys are blasting it out too, right? Like you lined up some influencers and stuff like that to take a look.
Yeah, we have a lot of that stuff coming, and that's kind of like we talked about before the show. Like it seems like the same old song and dance. Anytime anybody asks me about it, I'm like, yeah, we're kind of in this gray area of waiting, but we have a lot of content coming out from influencers and stuff. And then also from we're looking at some collaboration stuff with other manufacturers.
Sure.
So I'm actually working on some stuff like that for Christmas time, some collaboration stuff. And then the influencer space, we have some people that are actually like any day now should be releasing some content. So obviously with new products and new company exposure is the hardest thing, especially with the meta space that we try to work in.
Yeah.
That's not very firearm friendly. So we're doing what we can. Yeah. So I'm
some police officers and police departments and stuff like Louisiana State Police is now carrying one of their SWAT teams is carrying our charging handles and all their rifles.
Oh, really? Awesome.
So,
yeah.
Yep.
So we're getting some of that more involved in the military contracts and things like that.
Oh, yeah. The military contracts are going to be huge.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the kind of stuff that like if you'd have told me a year ago, it's like no, there's no way we have it that dial by then. But it speaks to it speaks to the product, right? Like it speaks to what it does, and I think it also speaks to the character of like the that we carry within the company is like,
sure.
We have this product and there may be people that don't agree with it and there may be people that agree with it. And it's like, we can understand both avenues. And if you tell me it's a bad idea, it's like, okay, we're gonna continue doing what we do.
Yeah.
You know, it's made for a purpose, and we believe in that purpose, and the folks that need it. You know.
Well, and that's exactly what I was going to say. It's like it actually segments the market, like the AR market, into like two camps, right? There are people, they're going to look at it and they're going to say, oh, that's another charging handle. Or they're going to look at it as like, oh, this fixes the thing that I needed to fix.
the problem, yeah.
Right? And we're not really, I'm not saying you guys aren't really marketing towards those people that don't need it.
Right.
Realistically. Of course, you want them to have it and buy it, but it's like, no, but you guys are aiming for that very specific niche of people who actually need this thing for their charging handle to not like get floppy on them when they're moving around with their stuff.
Yeah. And usually the camp's like people that's had it happen to and people hasn't happened to it yet.
Yeah.
Right. Like they're going to happen if they keep messing around with guns.
Right.
You're going to have the same issue that everybody else has. So
yeah,
just get ahead of the curve.
Yeah.
Well, and a lot of times when if you're and not to say that these segments are good or bad, but like if you're a hobbyist, right, who always keeps your AR in a bag, you know, and you go to the range and it's a very controlled environment. You never sling it. You never really take it with you. It's not a daily carry type situation. Then of course it is a nice to have. You want the deadlock charging handle because it's a nice to have, but it's not a mission critical thing for you.
And you won't see it as that because you'll be like, what? I don't, you don't my charging handle has never done that. It's like, yeah, it probably hasn't. And that's okay. And if you think it's, it's a product you don't need, that's also okay.
Yes.
Like it's, I'm not forcing you to have this, we designed it for a specific purpose, and like Brandon said, it's like, it hasn't happened to you yet. And, maybe like you said, it's not mission critical for what you use your rifle for, and that's okay. But the other thing too is that the tactical market kind of runs off of what the cool guys have.
Of course.
So it's kind of the trickle down effect, and like we can name 100 products that it's like you don't need that, but you have it.
You're eventually going to have it, whether you need it or not.
So that's why we're not like terribly worried about it. It'll have that trickle down effect. And again, and even if it doesn't, like it was a product designed for a specific purpose, and we understood that whenever we designed it. Sure. So there'll be other products that are specifically tailored towards the civilian market, and
competition market.
Market.
Well, I mean, the fact that the state police are already carrying it and it's only been out for a couple of months, it's like there's
another department that have. We're still in contact with them right now on trying to get all their SWAT team set up for it, but it was the suppressed use, right? Like we went bring a machine gun. It was like, all right, like shoot this charging handle, the one that they're currently using that was for suppressed use, and then shoot ours back to back, and it was like night and day. And they had like some left-handed shooters that were there also, which is even worse because your ejection port's on the other side,
right?
And he was like, yeah, noticeable difference. Like we have to have these.
Yeah.
So we have departments in Tennessee and like Arizona and stuff too that are demoing them. So like it's crazy to think that it's made that outreach,
for sure.
So and then some, like Brandon said, some military entities and stuff. So yeah, it's come a long way.
Well, it works. I mean, like that. That's the proof's in the pudding, right?
Yeah.
Like when it works, it's like the people who need it see it.
And the state police thing is like we haven't had to sell this concept to anybody that really wants it,
Yeah.
Like the state police thing, when we showed it to them, the guy was like, how do I buy it right now? And I was like, well, wait, like at that point we were like 2 weeks out from having them. I was like, you can't. He was like, well, what do you mean I can't? I was like, I don't have them.
Right.
He's like, well, no, you came here, like I want it right now. I was like, dude, I'm trying, Like, so, but the second we had them, like they were like, yep, they put an order in and they were like, yep, we want them. So
that's great.
They definitely get them. And then, manufacturers too, like, the higher end, manufacturers. OEM is obviously a goal for us.
Sure.
Being an OEM handle for manufacturers. The higher end manufacturers that have seen it are like, yep, this is the best of the best, so we want it. So how do we get it?
Even if they make their own.
Even if they make their own, which is that's crazy to think about.
Yeah.
And again, hopefully that there's some. I hope soon that I'm working on it with them. Hopefully there's some stuff soon that we can talk about, but obviously we don't want to jump the gun on anything.
Yeah. We can't say anything.
But we've been very blessed. So we've been very blessed. And if there's anybody out there that watches the show and you have a manufacturing company or you want to demo some of them, or you're in law enforcement, please get in contact with us. We have a contact form on our website, Sentry Manufacturing. Please reach out to us. We would love to demo for you. We'd love to send you some test samples. Once you see them in action, you'll understand why, that we have people jumping on them like they are.
And I think another thing is like a lot of people that watch the show, if you're from a different area and you have a dealer that like everybody has like their gun dealer,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like their at home thing that they always go to that gun shop. So like get contact for them, like send them over to our way, because like we're looking for new dealers also.
Sure.
So if they want to stock our product, we'd be more than happy to set them up as a dealer and get some stuff shipped out to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if they have like rental rifles, like we've already sent, we've sent some to some ranges like us that have a rental rifle, and like they ran it, and they're like, yep, as soon as we can, we'll put an order in. So it's once you see it, you'll get it. It's pretty cool.
Big things, Sentry Manufacturing, big things. That's awesome.
We've been blessed.
Very good. So let's see. I think the next thing we can debrief on is the club. Lafayette Practical Shooters. A lot of folks. I just talked to somebody yesterday in the club. He said, "I just binged watch all of your episodes." Okay. So thank you all the club guys who are listening. All of you USPSA, IDPA shooters, whoever you are. Thank you for listening. We've done this for a year. The show, we're going to do it for another year and try to get, as much interesting content for competition shooters as possible, while also keeping it friendly for all non-competition shooters. Our club is just, it's growing and evolving. I think it's, we have made some changes here in the past 2 months, I guess, that have really kind of set our club up for, independent success, I guess. And it's, our shooters are still shooting. They're still going everywhere, still winning, finding success, getting better, always rotating in new folks,
Yeah, we always have new people that come in. And one of the things I don't know if get that much into detail, but like on the steel matches and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like we can talk about that.
Sure. Yeah.
So we're going to start doing away with the steel matches, I believe, and start going just all USPSA. That's been a big thing that people have been talking about, because some days they'll come in and it's like, oh man, I thought it was a USPSA match, and they shoot steel just because it's like there, but like they would really want to just keep shooting USPSA.
Right.
And so we're going to go back to all USPSA every Thursday.
Yeah.
And go from there.
Yeah, because the folks who started the steel match, they found a great situation at the Fusilier range to be able to do steel outdoor, and really that's a great place for it. It's I think it's better than an indoor range for a lot of reasons, not the least of which is that a lot of them are shooting 22, and the lead dust from 22. It's
harder on the filters, and the ricochet from indoors and stuff like that just makes it difficult.
Yeah, for sure. And so it makes it better for the steel crew, for Mike and Aubrey and their guys that want to shoot steel. And it makes it better for our crew who wants to keep shooting USPSA. So both things are going to happen, right? Steel is going to continue. It's just going to continue at Fusilier. If you need, reach out on however you get a hold of us on Lafayette Practical Shooters to figure out how to get a hold of Mike and Aubrey to get plugged into the steel stuff, because that's still happening, right? Just get over with them, and we're going to add the USPSA on that off Thursday. Now, the other cool thing that we're doing, at least for the first 6 months of next year, is that every Sunday will be a classifier match, a USPSA classifier match.
Month, though.
Of the month. Yeah.
So we have one Sunday a month that we shoot.
Second Sunday.
Yeah, second Sunday. So it's not every Sunday.
Correct. Yeah.
But yeah, second Sunday of every month is going to be a classifier match.
Yeah, each of the Sunday matches will be a classifier match. And we'll try to get at least 6 classifiers in on that day. And actually, it ends up working out, I think, well, because there is another match in the section around that time, like on the same day, the second Sunday. But they can shoot that in the morning. Our match on the second Sunday doesn't start till 3 p.m.
Perfect.
So, you can shoot whatever it is in the morning. I think it's actually the Kaz steel match.
Oh, the steel match.
They have a steel match, and then you can come from Cass from Palo Alto, just drive straight over to Youngsville, boom, shoot 6-stage classifier, and then
get classified through USPSA. And
absolutely, yep. So, and that's those are the big changes we're doing this year. I think the club outing was a good one. We all shot the Arkansas section together.
Yeah, definitely want to do that once a year for sure.
Yeah.
Like get everybody together and say, hey, like what's the closest match? Like we usually always shoot the Louisiana one,
right?
But like if it's here, then we don't have to go get hotels. But like having like the big thing where everybody travels is kind of cool.
It was fun. It was fun, you know. And again, I'm going to shout out again to Jay for putting together all the food. My gosh, I can't talk about that enough. You need to go next time.
I'm coming. I'm telling you.
You need to go.
Next year I'll be on. I'll make more than just that. I'm just coming. I'm coming support.
Come shoot.
Come
yeah.
support.
I mean, my God, come eat.
Oh, yeah.
Jeez.
That's why I'm coming. We had a guy in the shop yesterday, actually, that was a first-time visitor to the shop, and he kind of was asking, like, he didn't know anything about USPSA, and was asking about, like, they participated in like bike racing, like pedal bike racing.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Okay. And he was saying that like they have this thing where like the different tracks, whatever, have clubs just like USPSA, and they compete against each other. So he was asking about like, you know, do you guys do that? Like where like your club competes against other clubs that are local? And me and Brandon kind of like looked at each other and laughed, and we were like, no. And he was like, well, why don't you like compete against other ranges and stuff? And it was like, it's like we kind of laughed, and we were like, well, they don't really have it, and like it really wouldn't be fair.
No, it wouldn't be good.
So we were laughing about it. So anybody from our local ranges, man, if you want to take us up on that, come on. But we were laughing. I was like, no, but that, you know, it lends to the fact that like we have so many matches, and like I don't participate too much in USPSA anymore, but like I see the improvements, and it's awesome to see like our guys going up in classifications and like the matches that they're ranking, you know, where they're ranking in matches. So it speaks a lot about the integrity of the club, and the kind of competitive, non-competitive atmosphere that we have, where we're not competitive in a sense that it's like not fun to be in, but we're competitive to a point where it encourages you to get better.
Yeah.
So I think that like that's a really awesome thing, and I can't wait to see like what 2025 brings. And so if I think like look, I'll double down on it, and I'm not in the club, so I can say this, but like I think like anybody in the state that wants to smoke could get it, you know. Anybody in the state, I think anybody in a couple of states that would want to smoke could get it.
Let's go, baby.
Yeah. So, but you know, again, it just lends to like the atmosphere and the always wanting to get better that we have, you know.
Yeah.
And then of course the facilitation of the matches and stuff. So that we're lucky to be able to do that.
Well, a lot of guys. I mean, and it's every year. You know, more guys step up.
Yep.
You know. And you know,
we became the club. Like if you are in the Acadian area, or if you're within a couple areas, like, you know, Sentry, and you either shoot there or
you've heard of us. You've seen us before. Yeah. And you know, I mean, in this year, it's like with Chad and Glenn and Terrence and Dutch and everybody stepping up to kind of take over, you know, and really run the logistics of the club. I'm sure leaving people out, but you know, and I apologize for leaving you out. Thank you all. And we'll talk about it at the Christmas party, you know, in a couple of days. But, you know, these guys this year, especially, really, you know, stepped up as, you know, you and I have kids the same age that are doing more stuff, and, you know, we're not able to be at the range nearly as much as we can for the club stuff. It's been really good. Really good. You know what? I will put that out there though, for that competition, for any range or any club who wants to compete. You know what? We'll do it for charity. We'll put the rules up in advance. You know, we'll advertise it. We'll make sure everybody gets equal billing. If you guys want to have a competition, reach out. You know, call the range. Ask for me. I probably won't be there, but they'll get your contact information. I'll arrange it. We'll do it for charity. We'll do it for a good cause. We'll have a lot of fun. If you guys don't want to see who's the best, let's go see.
Yeah, that's right.
It'd be really fun. It'd be really fun, because that's the thing. Like, you know, about Sentry, that is like, that really is different. Like dude, I mean, we could drive around the country with like 4 people from the club, and like.
Yeah.
Nobody.
We're gonna give people problems.
Nobody. I don't think there's any range. Dude, I don't.
Yeah, I've never been to another range where it's like, okay, we have this many. Maybe like Rio.
Yeah,
Rio would be the only other one, like in Arizona, because like Neil's and all them's over there.
GM's flying around all over there. Yeah.
But other than that, like there's not that many, especially indoors.
Especially ranges, right? Ranges are like, that is mostly a different clientele,
and that's what people that come to the shop. That's why they end up like, that's why they come to Sentry, is because, you know, they have a question or something. And it's like, it's not, you know, it's not like a ice cream shop employee that works behind the counter. Like, it's gun guys, right? Yeah. And it's not just gun guys, it's competitive guys that like are, you know, they know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
So
at
that's
the top of the top.
Yeah. That's what drives people to Sentry. And like, our actual team at Sentry is not huge. Like we have like 6-7 employees.
Yeah.
And we have one of our employees that like always talks about the fact that like you have to go so far to find another range like us. But like it really is true. Like I've been to like other I'll just say gun shops, and like you can ask them like the most generic, like is that AR like piston driven or is it like gas, and they're like, I don't know. Do you want to buy it or not? It's like this.
Or they like regurgitate information that they've heard on the internet.
Yeah.
Right. Like they never shot the gun.
Never really shot the gun or anything.
Yeah.
I remember I had an employee that was a Navy SEAL, and then the first class he's ever came up to, like I was teaching it, and I was like, hey, you just can help me like RO it and stuff like that. And he's never been to a Sentry class before, and like halfway through the class, he's like, wait, like you just let him like use live firearms, and like you're teaching him all this? I'm like, yeah. He's like, in one day. I was like, yeah. He's like, it took us like 6 months in the military to get to this, area. He's like, I can't believe we're doing that. It's like, there's no other range in the country that's gonna let you do this. I'm like, okay, like we're gonna try to do it.
Good thing I own this place.
Good thing I own this place is like, this is awesome training. Like this is like what we really need. You need this.
That's our favorite thing is social media when we'll post a video of like when we build a new machine gun or like doing like a drill or something, and somebody will comment and be like, yeah, have fun getting kicked out of the range. And Brandon will be like, good thing I own the range. I love it. I live for Brandon's social media comments. Like I live for him.
They're few and far betwin anyway.
I had a guy. Yeah,
I'll like fuel him too. Like this guy would be like, "Oh my god, anybody can do that," and I'd be like, "Yeah, isn't this guy just like a total d-bag?"
I explained something on grip, and he's like, "Yeah, that makes sense unless you're a USPSA shooter." And I was like, "Oh,
Did I take a photo of your classification?
I was like,
boom, GM.
Like I didn't even say it at first. I was just like, hey, like it's still a great thing. Like I do believe it's the fastest way to shoot a gun and best way to shoot a gun, even if you're shooting USPSA.
Right.
And he's like, well, I've shot a lot of USPSA matches, and that's not the way I'll do it, and everything else. I'm like, well, I have two. Like I'm a grandmaster in USPSA, and then. End of comment.
Silence.
No
Radio
more
silence. And I remember like when the guy first put the comment, I was like, Brandon, let me at him. Let me do it. let me do it. Let me let me do it. I live for it. But yeah, but that's the thing too, is like we don't come across as that. Like we don't ever like down people for questions. Like every day it's like, hey, I have a stupid question. It's like, it's not stupid. Like I don't expect you to know this. Like we'll answer the question and like hopefully you learn something from it. You know? And that's how we treat people. And I think that's what drives people back to Sentry. And they always say that, like, I come from X, Y, and Z range, and like they don't let us do X, Y, and Z, or they couldn't, I gave them a gun to fix, and like, yada, yada, yada. And like the amount of stuff that we fixed from other places is outrageous, but it just lends to the same thing.
Always learning stuff and always staying humble.
Always.
That's the best thing about the range. It's like nobody gets too much into their own.
No, not at all.
Like,
we make sure of it.
Exactly. Yeah. So the one caveat I will put out there for any group who wants to compete, against wants to challenge Sentry Defense to anything. If you're going to challenge us to a CrossFit type thing, just give us some time to train. Okay.
What's in Brandon?
What's
in Brandon?
I'm like 40 years old plus. I just need some time. I need some cardio. Yeah. Like I need to get back up on that wagon. But yeah. So, lots of good things at the club. Been a really good year for the club. I think, next year is going to be much of the same. We always try to change. We're always trying to adapt and make sure that we're addressing the needs of our club members and doing what they want to do and looking out in the best interest of them. So we can expect the same for that next year. Sentry Defense, of course, we're going to end with this one. Yeah. Lots of big things happen. We just coming off the Blake event, lots of new things, lots of new additions to the range with the virtual training stuff and, more things. Laser shot, all of that stuff. And then, the big things, I think, for next year, like the expansion.
Yeah.
Right?
So we're trying to expand within the next couple of years or so. We're trying to get all that stuff ironed out right now. Right. Keep adding more inventory. So let us know like what you're looking for. What do you think that we should start carrying, or like what area we want to go into? We want to start getting more into hunting stuff. We do a really good job of concealed carry things and tactical stuff. Also USPSA, we got big into that this past year with Double Alpha, and I think that's been like a year and a half or so. We've been actually carrying all that stuff. So that's been great. Instead of like saying, hey, you have to go and buy this online, and it's very confusing. It's like, no, we're going to carry it in store, and you can buy all the stuff that you need for USPSA shooting there. And other than that, yeah, just like keep adding to things and
new
trying
shirts,
to add more new shirts, new classes. Like we'll try to add like a fundamentals class, is what we've been talking about. So that should be coming out with concealed carry classes that are kind of like hit or miss now. We're doing fewer of those, so now we can open up to new classes. It might be like a half-day class, more focused on fundamentals for newer shooters and people that just want to really dial in on fundamentals or maybe missing something. So it could be like a class you can take over and over again. That'd be a great class that we're going to add. SHOT Show's coming up, so any new products that you want us to see, we'll be there, and doing more stuff to see what we're going to put into the shop and what we think's cool, and hopefully we'll get them within this year that's coming up.
Never.
Because usually SHOT
now we'll
Shows,
see the same products.
Yeah,
Good luck.
SHOT Shows like the same thing every year. It's like they release these products and like, oh, this is great. Like, I want them. And they're like, well, you can't get them yet.
2026.
Like, the next year is usually whenever it finally comes out. Like last year, I really thought the Daniel Defense PCC gun was
first one I was thinking about.
Like, I was like, man, this thing is so cool because it takes CZ mags. Like, it's a direct blowback gun. It's going to run forever. It's Daniel Defense high quality stuff. So I was like, yeah, I'm definitely gonna start stocking these. We still haven't got one in.
Still not released?
Not yet. Right. So like, we're gonna try to get it in.
We did we did the same thing with the charging handle. So it's I understand it. I couldn't imagine making like a full gun. Like I definitely understand it. The manufacturing process is not easy. I definitely understand it. So,
but anything that you want to see and like you hear about, maybe rumors or something, like, hey, go see what's at the Glock booth or what's at the CZ booth or whatever it might be, we'll go and stop. We obviously know all the shooters there and have a bunch of industry connections, so maybe they can show us around and show us what's the new thing at that booth.
For sure. Yeah. Cool. It'll be good. Good year, guys. Good year. Good first year for the show. Thank you all the listeners, all the viewers out there for supporting us this year. For those who support Sentry Manufacturing, who support the club, who buy Skill Builder ammo, thank you for that. I think the quick thing about Skill Builders, we're going to just try to make more.
Yep, try to make more.
Try to make more.
Yeah, finally, components are coming down. So
exactly.
We're getting back to normal.
So we can make it more affordable and everything and all that stuff. So, but it's, been a pleasure, guys. Been a great year. And next year, 2025 is going to be awesome too. And for you viewers, this is our last show for the year. I'm leaving on vacation for 2 weeks. So the next show that we'll probably have at least one show before SHOT Show, maybe two, maybe get two in the can before SHOT Show. And then, be looking for us, the lives on SHOT Show. We'll do a better job. I'll try to do a better job of advertising those. Unfortunately, we'll have Sam on the Sentry Manufacturing side. She will be advertising those.
Yes, she will.
Even if I'm not. So she'll be pushing that on the socials. Look for us, as always, on, Rumble and Twitter or X, right? I'm trying to get my terminology correct. Yeah. They don't censor us. It's not that they're gun friendly so much, is that they are very First Amendment friendly and free speech friendly, and so trying to put our stuff out on that, we're going to be more proactive about that, because I can tell you of all the meta stuff. I know you guys have had it too in manufacturing. Sentry's page got canceled this year.
Yep.
So
I almost got manufacturing's page canceled last week.
So if you are watching the show and you're not subscribed to Sentry's Facebook page, we have a new Facebook page. Go and subscribe to that, like it, and follow it.
Yeah. And manufacturing is too. Do that. Go follow the websites, guys. Sentry Def, SentryManufacturing.com. Just because. TikToks and
whatever else.
Yeah. And
YouTube.
Rumbled X, all YouTube. YouTube's been okay. YouTube canceled us one of the first live streams I did.
Yeah.
Because we were doing it at Fusilier for one of their NRA events, and they didn't like it when Barney was running a stage. So because it was live firearm something, blah, blah, blah. So Rumble was okay with it. Yeah. Just putting it out there, not trying to push anybody to any one platform or the other. Just really like, hey, YouTube, Rumble's okay with it.
Yep.
Let's get our act together. So, but yeah. So enough of that. Find us wherever you find us. Plug in. Thank you all. Anything else, guys, you guys want to mention before we cut it for the year?
Nope. Any show ideas you have, or like we talked about, any products you guys want us to review, send them over, send the ideas over. We're always looking for content, and unless you just want to hear us babble, we can do that. We can do that endlessly.
We did that for an hour.
Send us some ideas.
Yeah, for sure. So, and last minute Christmas gifts. If you need them, sentrydef.com, sentrymanufacturing.com. I keep saying it, but if you guys want it for Christmas, you guys are going to need to get it soon. So, with that, Happy New Year. Merry Christmas, everybody. Thank you all for listening, and we will catch you again next year.